Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking, all right? So I know I've been hitting y'all with the content today. I'm trying to get it together while I can, while the algorithm is showing your boy some love, because the algorithm actually showing your boy some love. So I'm trying to do my thing real quick. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully I'm not overwhelming y'all with notifications. Hopefully I'm not overwhelming y'all on the content. If you miss something, you miss it. Don't worry about it. You know, hopefully as long as the algorithm is working, it'll recommend it as you scroll down the home screen, and y'all can watch it at y'all leisure and comment whenever. All right. Shout out to everybody that's here. If you guys came from that Joe Biden video, hopefully you guys like that. If you can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or a radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, then give me a thumbs down or an angry face, all right? And I'm going to shout out everybody that's in the building early, all right? Shout out to my man Carlton Way. You already know, bro. You already know. That $400 bottle of Ace of Spades coming. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Jacoby. What's good with it, bro? All right, so shout out to my man Bronze of God. What's good with you, bro? If you guys haven't hit that like button yet, make sure you guys hit that like button. Also, if you're not subscribed to Undocumented on Twitter, when the bots put the link for it in the chat, make sure you guys take a moment and go over there and check that out. So the title of this live stream is Operation Lone Star Isn't So Lonely Anymore. Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you guys know why Operation Lone Star is not so lonely anymore? Shout out to my man Carlton again. Carlton said Lone Star got a whole heap of stars supporting him. Now, yeah, that's facts. That's facts. A bunch of states came out in support of Texas, and some independent entities came out in support of Texas. How many people heard about that? If you guys heard about that, let me know. Shout out to Carla. What's good with it? We're going to talk about a couple different things. We're going to talk about these entities that came out in support of Texas. We already talked about the states, but we'll go through that again. And then we're going to talk about some more about what's going on in Texas. And then we're going to call it a day because your boy got more work to do. All right. So let's check this out real quick.
Shocking new video shows two large SUVs dropping off dozens of illegal migrants at the border in Jacumba, California.
Okay. So already we're starting out crazy. Ladies and gentlemen. Why is there a random SUV just pulling up to the gate and dropping off mad people? Why is that happening? What's going on there? Shout out to Black Free Thinker. What's good with you, bro? Why is that happening?
Shocking new video shows two large SUVs dropping off dozens of illegal migrants at the border in Jacumba, California. The group appearing to be mostly adult males, made up of people from China, Turkey, Brazil, and India.
Mostly adult males. China, Turkey, and India. What's going on right there, guys? You guys notice anything strange about that?
Customs and Border Patrol sources say that they were nearly 1,100 illegal crossings in the San Diego sector on Sunday, 97 Chinese nationals and 91 Turkish nationals. The House Homeland Security Committee expected to mark up
about the new neighbors
against DHS Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas today, charging him with refusal to comply with the law and a breach of public trust. We are talking about this right now with South Carolina Congressman Russell Fry, a member of the House Oversight and Judiciary Committees. Congressman, this is very concerning, and I also spoke with one of my border sources the other day, and he told me that he's seeing activity shift further west, in other words, Arizona and San Diego. This is really where the poorest situations are now worse than anybody thought. In addition to Texas, they're currently the top two sectors with the most illegal crossings, averaging 2,000 plus daily encounters a day. What is your reaction to what's taking place at the border right now?
I think it's shameful. I mean, this matches what I've seen in Yuma, Arizona personally. When we were down there, we saw individuals from China, Ukraine, Uzbekistan, Africa, Haiti, Central and South America, you name it. Every part of the globe was present at the border that particular night that we were there. And so it's really shameful.
So now, again, here's my question. Why do you guys think that all of these people from all of these different areas are at the border? He named a whole bunch of different countries of where he believes people are that he saw at the southern border when he was there. Why are they all there? Make it make sense. And real quick, shout out to everybody that's watching. We got 22 people watching, and we got 14 likes. If everybody can bang on those likes and get us to 30, that'd be great.
that this is allowed to perpetuate, that the secretary has known for months, if not years, the problem, and he refuses to fix them.
Yeah, we're also seeing that they're catching illegal migrants on ranches and human smugglers. One source told me that they arrested a cartel smuggling guide this weekend who smuggled illegal immigrants into Texas, and then they realized that he was wanted for murder in Mexico. Okay, so he was arrested over the weekend. I don't understand why your colleagues in the Senate are allowing anybody to come through at this point after we've learned what we've learned. Is this Senate deal being negotiated going to live? I mean, Mike Johnson, the Speaker of the House, said that the Senate border deal, any border shutdown authority that allows even one illegal crossing is a non-starter. Thousands each day is outrageous, Mike Johnson said. The number must be zero. However, Oklahoma Senator James Lankford says Republicans are rejecting the bipartisan border deal because it's an election year. That's what he said. This is a Republican. Watch this.
It is interesting. Republicans 4 months ago would not give funding for Ukraine, for Israel, and for our southern border because we demanded changes in policy. So we actually locked arms together and said, we're not going to give you money for this. We want to change in law. And now it's interesting, a few months later, when we're finally getting to the end, they're like, oh, just kidding. I actually don't want to change in law because it's a presidential election year.
Why do you guys think the inconsistency is happening? What he just explained right there was a lot of the inconsistencies that I'm always talking about when I say how inconsistent the politicians are and how they just kind of make up their own rules and do what they want to do. He just gave an example of that from his perspective on what's going on with this border security / military assistance deal. Everybody's changing what they're saying. And the reason why everybody's changing what they're saying is because it's an election year. People are changing what they're saying so that they can get some votes. Shout out to Carlton Way. Carlton Way said he looked like a character from hip hop cartoon. Hey, that's facts though. He do look like a character from hip hop cartoons, man. That's hilarious. Shout out to Torian. Torian said he looked like the Sweet Dreams singer. Man, that's crazy. Who made that song, Sweet Dreams? Was that Marilyn Manson? He looked like Marilyn Manson.
And now the Oklahoma GOP is voting to censor Lankford for his role as the chief negotiator in these border talks, Congressman. Where's this going?
Well, I don't know what the Senate really, is doing. What I will say this is that Obama's former Homeland Security Secretary said that you reach a crisis point at 1,000 migrants a day. So under the negotiated deal, they're going to shut down the border at 5,000. This doesn't make any sense. And so this isn't Trump that's saying this. This is Obama's former Homeland Security Secretary saying 1,000 overwhelms the system. But here,
shout out to Blue Electric. What's good with it, Blue?
10,000 a day. 5,000 is acceptable. I just think it's a non-starter. The House's position is pretty clear. I think that's where the American people are. HR2, the Secure the Border Act, is where we need to be. It fixes the issue. It removes these ambiguities in the law that the secretary has been allowed to abuse for years.
Yeah.
And it's time to get serious about the border. This doesn't solve the border crisis.
And Doug Collins, you made a really good point earlier. You said, why did they think they needed to start from scratch in the Senate? You had HR2. So what's the deal with starting from scratch and coming up with this idea of 5,000 a day, Doug?
Yeah, I mean, that's the point. And Russell, I think, I think you understand this as well. You have a bill. The purpose is to negotiate a bill. And when you start at 5,000, I mean, that's so far over the what used to be called extreme. Jay Johnson, as you just said. The question I have is there the animosity that's built up there that Republicans don't just want a law, a bad law. They want a law that actually fixes it. I think that's what.
Now, let me ask you guys a question. Do you all still think that that migration, immigration, border crossing at 5,000 border crossers per day, is that still sustainable? Because you got to remember, it's probably always going to be 5,000, and then there's going to be the amount of illegal people that come over that aren't able to be traced, or that we're not going to know that are coming over. And so if they don't enforce the laws, which is the problem right now, then all they're going to count is probably going to be the 5,000 people that they designate coming over. And then we're still not going to know about the illegals. And it's going to cause even more of a strain because we're going to be expecting a 5,000 migrant cap when there's going to be 5,000 plus whatever illegals come through. And it's going to still put a strain and a stress on the system and the resources. You know what I'm saying?
Where Senator Lankford maybe off a little bit. Is that the feeling of the House right now? It's not just any law. It's got to be a good law.
Well, it's got to be a law that fixes the problem, right? I mean, we know right now that the president has the authority to secure the border under the same laws that President Trump made the securest border that we've ever had. So it's time to get back to the basics, and HR2, by every estimation, will fix the problem.
Let me switch gears to ask you about the Oversight Committee, because Eric Schwerin, one of Hunter Biden's former business partners, is going to appear before the House Oversight Committee for a deposition today. Schwerin was considered Hunter's point person for their Chinese business deals and was even called the money guy. He also served as a financial advisor to Joe Biden and helped him file his tax returns. It's interesting that he was a financial advisor for Joe Biden and also the money guy for Hunter Biden's deals.
I think that's where the committee is going to go. Is Mr. Schwerin was involved in the formation of some of these corporate entities. He's been intricately linked to the Bidens for years. He's visited the White House and the Naval Observatory numerous times. There are hundreds, at least 50 emails that we know about right now, where he has communicated with Joe Biden's fake alias. And so there's a lot of questions. Obviously, last week we had Robb Walker and another associate in, and this is part of our continuing effort to really kind of understand the structure of the Biden family money peddling schemes.
Yeah, I mean, I know that there were also direct emails between Joe Biden and Eric Schwerin, and Joe Biden was using a pseudonym. Your colleague, James Comer, told me there were about 50 emails back and forth. So how does Joe Biden make the case that he had nothing to do with his son's business deals if he's emailing the money guy directly?
Well, I don't think that he can make the case. I mean, they continue to kind of be.
Shout out to John. John said, "What's good, Rob? I see you got your girl on here." Yeah, I got her on here with her crazy voice.
Bury their head in the sand about the reality that they find themselves in. But the facts are, at least what we know right now, is that he was very involved in this family's financial problems.
All right, we will leave it there, Congressman. We'll be watching your work there. Thank you very much for being here, Russell Fry.
So now, I haven't had a chance to do any updates on the Hunter Biden situation, but while they're talking about it, you know what I'm saying? My question for you guys is, with all of the evidence that they have that Joe Biden was involved, him being referenced as the big guy and all of that stuff, why do you guys think that nothing's happening? Why is there no investigation out on Joe Biden? How come he's not being forced to answer any questions or go through any type of questioning? What do you guys think? Yeah, that voice is wild, man. That voice, that's Fran right there.
Border standoff is escalating. Governor Abbott is bolstering the razor wire fence along a border park that's at the center of the dispute. GOP leaders, including the governors of at least 7 states, are backing Abbott in this showdown with Biden. Meantime, the president is facing.
So now we know that now it's more than 7 states. So how many states is it that are backing Biden, or that are backing Governor Abbott now?
Seen growing calls from Democrat lawmakers to federalize the Texas National Guard. But Abbott says he is not backing down.
And what Texas is asserting is our Article 1, Section 10 right of self-defense, because the president of the United States is not fulfilling his duty to enforce the laws passed by Congress that deny illegal entry into the United States. The Biden administration has really, truly abdicated its responsibility to secure the border and enforce the laws. Texas, very simply, is securing the border. And so we put up the razor wire that you were talking about, Bill, and we put up all these barricades that actually have denied illegal entry. And as you pointed out also in that screen, that there are criminals coming across our border. Texas has a right as a state to stop criminals from coming into our state, to make arrests of those criminals. The immigration system and the border issue is the primary issue in America right now. This is an issue upon which Joe Biden gets a grade of F and deserves to be fired.
Let me ask you guys this question. On the border issue, do you guys agree with Abbott that Biden deserves an F and should be fired? Gotta agree. I gotta agree with him. On that, gotta agree. Biden definitely deserves an F and deserves to be fired. Now, we gotta ask this question. How is it that you can go your entire 4 years and never address the border, and then right when it's about to be on the brink of political season, now you sit there and say that you're willing to do whatever it takes. You're willing to do whatever it takes to get the border under control. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If that don't make any sense, give me a thumbs down.
Ari, the governor wrote this in his statement to the Biden administration very clearly. He said the failure of the Biden administration to fulfill the duties imposed by Article 4, Section 4 has triggered Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, which reserves to the state the right reasons I've already declared an invasion to invoke Texas's constitutional authority to defend and protect itself. And he says that authority is the supreme law of the land and supersedes any federal statutes to the contrary. This is almost like a page out of history. It is Texas versus the president.
Now, I don't know about articles and clauses. I do know that the governor is right. And think about it simply. Why is it?
So what is this dude talking about? If you don't know what the articles and the clauses are, then how do you know that the governor is right? I guess he showed us. You know what I mean? Like, seriously, think about that. If you don't know articles and clauses, then how do you know that the governor is right? Like, what are you saying? And they got this guy on the news. This is one of the reasons why people don't take Fox serious. There's certain things that if you are interested in, you got to watch Fox because there's not really a lot of other people that are covering it. But then they bring people on there like this and do stuff like this. You know what I'm saying? Like, just make it make sense, man. Look at that razor wire down there.
Legal for sanctuary cities to defy the federal government to let illegal immigrants in, but it's not legal for Texas to defy the federal government to keep illegal immigrants out. It makes no sense. So yes, since we know sanctuary cities are somehow legal, what Governor Abbott is doing is not only legal, it's moral. It is the right thing, because if you're going to come to America, as we want immigrants to do, as my mother did, I'm a first-generation American. Come here legally, don't come here illegally. And good for Governor Abbott.
This dude, he's a descendant of the bros. He's a DOB. He's a descendant of bros.
For finally doing something about it, because Joe Biden won't.
Kaylee, let's talk about what if. Texas sort of has Biden in the corner. What if Texas doesn't comply? What is Biden going to do? Is he going to send in the military? Is he going to force Texas to actively open the border? There's a lot that could happen, and there's a lot at stake.
Well, progressives are saying it's time for you to control the federal or the Texas National Guard. So he has pressure from progressives. I doubt he'll do that. He'll probably let this play out in court. But look, these governors who are supporting Texas are exactly right. You had Governor Kemp, who just came out and said, I support Texas. Governor Ron DeSantis just put out a video where he laid out constitutional law in no uncertain terms. He said Daniel Horowitz brings up Federalist Paper number 46, which allows the states to mitigate federal action in certain circumstances, including this one, Article 1, Section 10. You point out the powers given to a state when there is an invasion, and it can be described as nothing less than that. But for all the people who say, Texas, you can't do this, common law doesn't allow this. Okay, what about President Biden? He is the executive branch. He must enforce the laws of Congress, namely the Immigration and Nationality Act, which says the Attorney General shall deport certain classes of illegal immigrants.
Now, yeah, Kaylee McKinney, she actually has a point here. And again, this is one of the reasons why they got Mayorkas under the impeachment papers, because they're saying that the law isn't being enforced. So my question to you all is, from your observation of what's been going on at the border, is the federal government enforcing the laws? Are these laws being enforced? If you all feel that the laws are indeed being enforced, then give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't feel that the laws are being enforced, give me a thumbs down. I feel that the laws are not being enforced appropriately. And I also feel that the border is not being secured appropriately. Shout out to Patricia Slade, B1. What's going on with it?
The laws of Congress. So don't give us an education lesson in constitutional law, Mr. President. Go back and read the Constitution, because you're defying the laws of Congress.
And we have that video, Kaylee, so I want to play it for viewers. This is Governor Landry and Governor DeSantis, who are both standing by Abbott. This is their support. Watch.
We support legal, not illegal immigration. We stand with Governor Abbott and Texas in reminding the federal government that under our Constitution, states are still sovereign, and we have the right to protect our citizens.
If the Constitution was originally understood to mean that a state could not protect itself against an invasion, that the federal government could force a state to allow an invasion, the Constitution would have never been ratified in the first place. All of this is just nonsense what Biden's doing. Texas has every right to stand its ground. It's not just a Texas issue. It's ultimately an American issue. And if we don't have sovereignty in this country, then we're not going to be a country anymore.
And Marie, in addition to voicing their support and articulating why legally it is sound, DeSantis says essentially every state is a border state right now, and that's reflected. For example, Fox News poll: 41% of Americans say it's the #1 top issue. I argue you can't really call it immigration. It's a larger bucket of a secure national sovereignty, and it's not playing out that way in Biden's eyes.
Well, look, I agree that it's a very important issue for voters for a number of reasons. You're absolutely right. It's not now, Biden versus.
I've said that before. What that lady just said. Immigration and border security are two separate things. That's why when you hear the Democrats talk about immigration reform, you know that they're going soft on securing the border, because those are two very separate things that require different strategies as well as different resources and different approaches. So if you have one group that's focused on one particular issue, which the Democrats have never changed their focus has always been on immigration reform. Immigration reform does not by default address border security. Immigration reform addresses immigration process. Immigration reform does not by default address border security. You know what I'm saying? Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. And real quick, shout out to everybody watching. We got 26 people watching and we got 18 likes. If everybody can smash that like button and get us to 30, that would be great.
Texas, though, it's actually the Supreme Court. I mean, the Supreme Court this week weighed in and ruled against Texas in one of the issues related to the border that he was trying to do. So you can't decide when you like Supreme Court decisions and when you don't. Democrats have had to learn that the hard way at times. So I think the Supreme Court will increasingly be weighing in here. But I found very interesting reporting we're getting today that Donald Trump and his allies are pressuring Republicans in Congress not to come to some sort of compromise on the border and immigration. We actually know that they're getting pretty close. Senators from both parties are working very hard here. Yesterday, Mitch McConnell told the Republican caucus that they're in a tough position because Trump doesn't actually want Biden to be able to, quote, get a win on this by signing something, even though signing that piece of bipartisan legislation would help with the border. Wouldn't fix it, but it would help. But there are a lot of Republicans who believe that this compromise, Democrats control the Senate and Republicans control the House. We have to compromise. They are close. Donald Trump is telling his allies not to vote for it so he can run on it in November. That, to me, is dereliction of duty. Biden is ready to sign something if Congress will send it to him. And
they had 2 years.
Man, they about to run her off. And they about to run her off the studio.
Republicans should get on board.
Republicans didn't need to hear that from Donald Trump. The votes weren't there before Donald Trump said it.
Yes.
That's why Mitch McConnell said what he did.
We don't know yet.
You just framed it.
You just framed it. There's not enough support for a compromise.
You just framed it like Donald Trump swanned into the Senate and is bullying Mitch McConnell.
That's exactly
and
what
that
he's
is
doing.
horse manure.
Exactly
no.
Oh, yeah, it's about to get lit. It's about to get lit.
That is exactly the way that it was written by the media. But I know myriad Republicans in the House, nothing was going to get past them, not in an election year. And it is not with the voters either. The first thing that Joe Biden did when he got into office was an asylum bill to grant every illegal migrant in this country asylum and to also give those who Trump deported to let them return legally. And Nancy Pelosi.
Hey, Torian crazy, man. Hey, if y'all agree with Torian, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with Torian, give me a thumbs down.
Because she's a smart politician, she wouldn't even take it up. So everybody listening needs to remember that when Karine Jean-Pierre and all the liars in the Biden administration bring up that the Republicans' fault. And I just want to highlight that the likes of Greg Casar, the Democrat representative from the Texas House, and Joaquin Castro, when they tell Joe Biden to federalize the Texas National Guard,
they letting it they letting it fly, man. Look right there, all the veins coming out, all the tendons is showing, man. That's crazy.
Yeah. Please try to send the military to seize the border and ensure that illegal migrants continue to flow into this country and to violate the very law that Joe Biden is supposed to enforce. Because from sea to shining sea and in every town and city in this country, people are going to vote for any Republican to make sure that this stops. And I have to insert this about the Supreme Court.
Hey, man, she's going to have to go get her little albuterol thing real quick. She's going to have to get the albuterol.
The Supreme Court decision that just came out this week, that was regarding an injunction in the interim while we wait for the it's while we wait for the final.
Just a quick fact check. Democrats controlled the House, the Senate, and the presidency for 2 years. They did nothing. They had an opportunity to do it. What did they do? They took 89 executive actions to roll back Trump's border policy. Those are facts, inescapable facts.
And that Supreme Court, it wasn't a decision, it wasn't an opinion. It kicked it back to the Fifth Circuit. This will continue legally. Yep.
Hey, man, that old lady, the old one, she ready to throw a coffee mug across the room at somebody's head. That old lady was about to get with him, man. So now we got a little interview clip here, and this is a clip between Torian's boy Clanity and Abbott. So we're gonna check this out real quick and see if we can get anything out of here. All right, but as you guys can see, all of the other states, all of the Republican states, they're all taking Abbott's side. They got his back. You know what I'm saying? It's going down. Lone Star ain't alone anymore, and I don't really know what is going to happen as far as anything goes, because Biden is banking on this bipartisan agreement getting signed, and I honestly don't think that it's going to get signed. I think that it's going to get held up again. If you guys think that bipartisan agreement is going to get signed, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think it's going to get signed, give me a thumbs down.
Here with more, Texas Governor Greg Abbott. Governor, first, I applaud your efforts. You've been on the show many times. You've tried convoys. You have done everything humanly possible. So your state, with its constitutional right, has put up the razor wire. They take you to court on that. And now they set up a confrontation between your National Guard and federal border troops. Now, I don't think either side of that equation wants to be enemies. They're all on the same side, aren't they?
They are, and as you pointed out, and as Border Patrol Council and Border Patrol members have made clear to Texas and to myself, they want to have nothing to do with regard to tearing down that razor wire or tearing down the barriers that Texas has erected for one simple reason, and that's because they are working. Border Patrol says that what Texas has done to secure the border actually makes their job even easier. The only resistance we're facing is coming from Joe Biden. Know this, Sean, and that is Joe Biden is in violation of federal law that already exists. For one, he is not living up to his duty to deny illegal entry across the border. Instead, he's aiding that illegal entry. The second thing is he's not, once people do cross the border, he is not.
Would you guys agree that Biden is aiding the illegal entry? If you ask me, the fact that they haven't done anything to even investigate the border, but then when the razor wire was put up, that's the first thing that inspired them to go down to the border and actually attempt to do something. The fact that that happened, the fact that that's occurring, to me, yeah, that definitely shows that there's a little bit of aiding going on. Shout out to Torian. Torian said, never picked up how much of a country Bumpkin Wheels is until now. That accent is thick. That's hilarious.
Detaining them as he's required by law, and so he's giving mass parole across the country. Because Joe Biden is not enforcing the federal immigration laws, that gives Texas the right, under that Article 1, Section 10 of the Constitution, to defend ourselves from imminent harm or from an invasion. So Texas has every constitutional right in this case, and I believe when the sun sets on this, Texas will be vindicated and the Constitution will be strengthened.
Yeah, you know, we have relevant U.S. laws. Joe Biden has been aiding and abetting in the law breaking. Joe Biden not even go further. He is violating the laws of this country. He is violating his oath to uphold our Constitution. I can put up on the screen, Title 8 USC 1324. It prohibits alien smuggling, domestic transportation. It goes into, every harboring illegal immigrants, encouraging or inducing, conspiracy, aiding and abetting. If I did any one of the things that Joe Biden has now institutionalized, I would be in jail. And I doubt that the best lawyers in America could get me off the hook.
Well, fair point, but also you're making another profound point. You listed all those different ways that the Biden administration has these duties and responsibilities. Because they're not just doing that job poorly, but because they have totally abandoned doing that job whatsoever. That is exactly what gives Texas our constitutional right for Texas to be able to act. So by Texas building the barriers that we have, by us taking the action to repel illegal immigration, we're fully authorized because the federal government has ceded or conceded the field of immigration enforcement, and Texas has picked up that duty, and we're the ones in self-enforcement. And let me tell you this amazing number, Sean. If you know where that park is, where Texas now has taken over and we blockaded that park, that is an area where sometimes over the past year, there would be as many as 2 or 3 or more than that 1,000 people coming across the border a day. Yesterday, there were just 6 people crossing the border. All 6 of those people were arrested by Texas law enforcement officers. We have now cracked down and been able.
Right. I agree, Carla. Because my thing is that if he's doing everything that he's doing, right, then you have to ask, okay, you're doing all of this. Why not just go ahead and go the next step and go ahead and just start sending people back? Texas sending people back. Give the judges and the law enforcement deportation authority for specifically illegally crossing the border into Texas and regulate that with the state authorities. That right there might, because that involves transport over a border, by the state, that might actually be written a little bit differently in the law. I'm not sure if it is or if it isn't. A lot of times those laws are really weird with really weird loopholes, which is one of the reasons why you see all of these court disputes all the time and nothing is ever clear at all. But I think that might have something to do with it. There might be some interstate issues there. You know what I'm saying? But don't quote me. I'm just assuming. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Torian. Torian says he didn't do it because he saw it as sticking this to sanctuary cities. And that too, facts, absolutely. And look what happened. It backfired much later. Now we have this conundrum on our hands. Yeah, facts. And you know what Neely Fuller Jr. said, people like Greg Abbott will blow up the entire thing just to make a point. And as you can see, that's exactly what Greg Abbott is doing for the most part. You know what I'm saying? He's setting the bomb for the most part and don't care if it detonate and blow up everything. So, you know what I'm saying? And Joe Biden is doing the same thing. They both are doing the same thing. Then you got Donald Trump on the outside agitating the situation. So all of those factors are reasons why I don't see any of this getting done. But out of all of the poor behavior and all of the poor approaches that are going into this, I do believe that what Greg Abbott is saying verbally and his reasoning makes the most sense. You know what I'm saying?
Well, to staunch the flow of illegal immigration, Biden should want this replicated across the entire border. That's what Texas is trying to do as we speak.
I got to say one good thing. Your fellow Republican governors have been pretty amazing. They've all come to your defense, every one of them. And they're offering guard troops. They are offering razor wire. They're offering all the help. They understand that you're bearing the brunt of this, but they also understand that their states are also impacted by Joe Biden's open borders. And these people are unvetted, as I keep pointing out. And now Joe Biden's being encouraged to federalize your National Guard, your state guard.
Yeah. Big facts.
What?
Big facts, Carla. That's exactly what we're looking at right here is scorched earth mentality. And clearly, right, when it comes to all parties involved, Greg Abbott, Joe Biden, Donald Trump, when it comes to everybody involved, who has actually even mentioned the people who have no control over this, who are being affected negatively by it? The only reference that those people are mentioned in relation to is to make a point of these people being able to get their policies or whatever their political aspirations are accomplished. None of these people care about the damage that they're causing their surrounding communities. None of them. Joe Biden doesn't care about the damage that he's causing the United States. Greg Abbott doesn't care about the damage that the people in Texas on the border are going through, or the people in the sanctuary cities that he's sending the migrants to. He doesn't care about them. Nobody cares about anything in this situation except for being a winner, if you ask me. You know what I'm saying?
Happens if he tries that? Because he did have a deadline on Friday. He hasn't done anything as usual, but what if that happens?
If he tries to do that, well, first of all, as you know, this is the number one issue in America. Americans want a secure border. If Joe Biden federalizes our National Guard, that would be the biggest political blunder that he could make. And that's why I think he will not do it. That said, of course, I am prepared in the event that they do make such a blunder to make sure that Texas will be able to continue to secure our border.
I'm not even going to ask you what your plan is because I don't want you to telegraph it to them. But the fact that you have a president that has been aiding and abetting we're now getting close to 10 million Joe Biden unvetted illegal immigrants in this country. I can't think of a bigger danger. You've heard from these former.
And now here goes the thing, right? Let me ask you guys this. All of these people that have been let in, because what's interesting about this situation is that as outraged as these people are acting like they are, literally no one is discussing a plan on how they plan to manage all these people that came in, or there's no plan that discusses how they plan on getting the people that came in here illegally out. And I think that that's something that needs to be discussed as well, because they're going to wear on the sustainability of the country as well.
Retired FBI, people in the upper echelon of the FBI warning that this is an invasion, warning that a lot of these people are, men that are of age that they could wage war on the country. What are the odds that from these countries that they're coming from that they have radical associations and are setting up, sleeper cells here in America? I would say the odds are 100% myself. I hope I'm wrong.
Well, so Sean, what you just said taps into the words in Article 1, Section 10, Clause 3, where it talks about imminent danger. we are in imminent danger because, as you rightfully point out, these are facts. And that is, there are people who are known terrorists who are coming across the border that pose an imminent danger, whether it be in Texas or some other state. Because Biden is not doing his job, that fully authorizes the state of Texas to protect our state and our country from that imminent danger.
Yeah. Governor, I applaud what you're doing. It's unfair.
Oh, he played a huge part. Huge part. Absolutely. And he's still playing a part by not directly sending them back to Mexico. He's playing games, sending them through the United States to try to get everybody on board. If it was really that big of an issue, he wouldn't care and just send them all back. And I agree 100% with that, Black Free Thinker. If you guys agree with Black Free Thinker, big money wants them here and have given Governor Abbott a lot of money. Don't fall for the hype. Facts. Follow the money. Big facts. Big facts. Now, let me ask you guys this. Do you guys think that Governor Abbott has started increasing his movements and doing more radical moves with the border because it's getting close to election time, and he's also doing this to put stress and strain on Joe Biden and all of these Democrat mayors to try to damage them politically so that a Republican has a higher chance of winning so they can get more Republicans in office? If you guys think that that's going on, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't, give me a thumbs down. And shout out to Jesse. What's good with it, bro? And real quick, also, ladies and gentlemen, shout out to y'all watching, man. We got 27 people watching and 20 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 40, that'd be great.
Fair that Texas has to go through this. I am glad that your fellow Republican governors have all stepped up and they're offering you assistance in any way they can. That speaks volumes about them. I hope the United States
Sean,
Senate
if
Republicans.
let me just say, let me say thank you to my fellow governors. Half of America now is standing against the Biden administration. Also, more than a majority of all the attorneys general across the country. Biden is not taking on Texas. Biden is taking on the United States of America.
Well said. And you know what? There should be consequences when a president picks and chooses the laws that he's going to enforce, and he doesn't get to break the law just because he doesn't like the law. You've done a great job, Governor, under very difficult circumstances, and everybody's pulling for you down there. Hang in there. Hey.
So now this is interesting, right? So do you think Sean Hannity would be okay with Trump and Biden sharing a jail cell? You guys think that Hannity would be okay with Trump and Biden sharing a jail cell? You know what I'm saying? Because it sounds good. But do you really mean it, though? You know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, it's a whole bunch of presidents that could be sharing some jail cells. George Bush, Bill Clinton, Reagan, the stuff that he was involved in. So how many people heard about this truck convoy? If you guys heard about this truck convoy that's supposed to come to Texas, give me a thumbs up. If you guys didn't, give me a thumbs down. As you guys can see here, far-right activists heading to San Ysidro to attempt coordinated border protest. All right. Members of a trucking convoy calling itself, you ready for this, Torian? The Army of God. the Army of God. Hey, KO Kid Fit had me dying laughing in the comment section. He said Governor Pritzker looked like a he said that Governor Pritzker looked like a Spawn character. Hey, when they said the Army for God, that just made me think of KO Kid Fit talking about Pritzker looking like a Spawn character. I started dying laughing. Shout out to Win Loser Rug. Oh man, that was hilarious. Calls to attend the Take Our Borders Back rally went out about a month ago when a group of people who are quote unquote prominent within the quote unquote far right quote unquote patriot world started organizing the convoy. Make your voices heard across America. Roll with us, says the website, adding from Virginia Beach, Virginia to Eagles Pass, Texas from Eagle Pass, Texas to Yuma, Arizona from San Ysidro, California to Yuma, Arizona. It would take over 700,000 vehicles to line the border. How amazing would that be? So they're going to try to line the border up with trucks. This is about to be something wild. If they get all these people down there and line up all them trucks, man, it's going to be something wild, man. It's going to be all over the news all over again. God's army is rising up. Life coach and professional influencer Kim Yeater said on the planning call, according to Vice, we have been chosen for this. We have been chosen for this time. We have all been chosen for this time. Yeah, okay. I never heard of Kim Yeater. Anybody heard of Kim Yeater? That's an interesting name. she might be careful down there. She might mess around and she could go from Yeater to Yeeted. Oh man, she better watch her back down there, man. She gonna go from Yeater to Yeeted. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Shout out to Carla. That's facts. They want to go back on that minimum wage of $15. Big facts. Shout out to Torian. Torian said they always think they're chosen for something. The voices in their head is just as delusional as they are. You ain't never lied, bro. You ain't never lied. You ain't never lied. Something bad gonna happen to some of these people, and then they're gonna be saying it's somebody else's fault, and they should just took their ass to work that day instead of acting like they had no sense. You know what I'm saying? The organizers have, like Yeater, used extreme and often racist rhetoric, quote unquote, about invasions and swarms at the border, which that's not racist, extreme. That's not racist, and it's not extreme. You're talking about invasions and swarms. Honestly, these things right here are probably the least racist things that this particular group of people have ever said when describing other people who they don't consider the same as them. Because I guarantee you at this truck convoy, the N-word and swastikas and Confederate flags will all be thrown around a lot. You know what I'm saying? But I guarantee you, though, you know what I'm saying? People like Greg Foreman and Candace Owens and Officer Tatum, they'll be all down there looking dumb. You know what I'm saying? They'll all be down there looking dumb. They might not make it back. People start drinking too much. You know what I'm saying? They start drinking that bad alcohol, start cracking open them boxes. They start cracking open them $5 boxes of Natty Light. They're going to let it fly. You know what I'm saying? So then they also push, quote unquote, election denial, QAnon, and quote unquote, the Great Replacement conspiracy theory, which hold that a white majority is within the process of being replaced by non-white people and immigrants. There's no such thing as a white majority. And again, as far as the replacement theory goes, that's literally the strategy that white people used to structure society in the way that has been heavily influenced by them. Would you guys agree? They are actually the users of replacement theory. They have literally strategically gone to other places where there's other groups of people and artificially created majority populations of theirs to control and influence the resources and societal power in those areas. That's literally the strategy that they used. And now they say that other people are doing it to them. Who's doing it to them? Who's doing it? Who's doing this? What do you guys think? Who's doing this? If this is actually indeed happening. The event website lists among its supporters a number of self-described patriot groups and churches, including Victory Outreach Church of San Ysidro. I think that there's a lot of grandiose complex and a lot of delusion there. A lot of grandiose complex and a lot of delusion. Honestly, there's places where these people are, where they're unwanted at, where if they wanted to go home and leave, literally nobody would stop them. Like South Africa. One of the few places. Let me ask you guys a question. The people on the continent of Africa, the indigenous people of Australia, the indigenous people of New Zealand, and the indigenous people of North America and South America. Did the replacement theory happen to those people? Where are those people today? Where are the Aztecs? Where are the Mayans? Where are the Cherokee? Where are the Navajo? Where are the Aboriginals? Where are those people at? Were they wiped out by natural disaster? What happened to them people? Some of those people don't even exist anymore, Black Freethinker. I don't think that you can even say that the Mayans and the Aztecs exist. They've become Aztec and Mayan South American in appearance, Spanish in psychology. Same with a lot of the immigrant Black people that come over here as far as the brain infection goes. Some people's last names and customs and religions and traditions have been taken away. That's a replacement. They sent brainwashing military missionaries to different places to completely eradicate original customs and traditions. Who's doing that to them? Who's doing that to them? Here's my question. What difference does it make if they're around or if they're not? And the reason why I ask that is because why would anybody be compelled to quote unquote erase them? None of the people who arguably would have that as a self-preservation interest and strategy even have the power to be able to do it. So if those groups of people don't have the power to be able to do it, we got to go back to the original question. And the original question is, who is doing this? Do you notice how they come up with all these crazy conspiracy theories, but then they never had, there's never a face or a name behind any of it? Maybe once in a blue moon, they'll say a person's name, usually the guy that his name begins with his last name begins with a S. They'll say that it's certain groups of people, like TD says, the ones that Kanye has issues with. But there's never any solid evidence. And all of these people that they show are people who are just like them, but they try to disassociate from them. So make it make sense. So now here it says the convoy was organized at around the same time that the Texas National Guard seized Shelby Park in Eagles Pass, Texas, and are preventing the federal government from processing migrants there. This has the potential to escalate an already fraught dispute between that state and the federal government over who controls the country's national borders. The border event shares members and organizers with 2022's Freedom Convoy, which attempted to similarly take back D.C. in protest of a non-existent injectable immunity mandate, but which quickly devolved into a litany of right-wing disinformation fueled grievances, during which participants spent 3 weeks driving in circles around the Beltway. Hey, they spent 3 weeks driving in circles around the Beltway. That right there is literally doing the exact same thing that I always talk about when I say their heads just spin around and they just repeat stuff. Make it make sense. They are scheduled to begin their convoy next week and are currently planning to protest at their destinations, including San Ysidro on February 3rd. All right. So, yeah, so they going down to the border And who knows what's going to happen. I don't know what's going to happen, but I tell you what, when it does happen, you already know who's going to have a stream about it, especially if they still hooking your boy up like how they hooking me up right now. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, speaking of hooking me up right now, if you guys haven't smashed that like button, please take a moment. Make sure you guys smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, make sure that you guys hit the bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. We are getting extremely close on this channel to 500 subs, guys. I appreciate you guys for that. We can get there hopefully by the end of February. Keep watching the replays. Keep smashing that like button. Keep hitting that bell. And we will eventually get there. I appreciate you guys, man. I'm glad you guys enjoy the content on this channel. So this is from the Trucker. Group protesting nation's immigration policy calls for massive convoy. All right. Now, let me ask you guys this question. What do you all think? Do you guys think that anything wild is going to happen here? They said that the other truck convoy just turned into a hot they said it turned into a hot mess of right-wing misinformation. A group calling itself Take Our Border Back Southern Border Convoy is aiming to form a convoy of more than 700,000 vehicles, including big rigs, to protest the federal government's border policies. The coalition alleges that President Joe Biden administration has violated Article 4 of the Constitution, which mandates the federal government protects states against invasion. Okay. According to group officials. Now, here goes my question, right? Now, let me ask this question, because Torian actually had got me thinking. Now, if we're gonna allege, you know what? Nah, that would make that not valid. Well, you know what? Nah, actually, it would make it valid. So check this out, right? Here's my question for you guys, and anybody that's watching this on the replay. I really want to know people's opinion on this, so please make sure you guys leave a comment. The same way Texas feels that it has the right to protect itself from an invasion, now that the sanctuary cities have come out and said that these things are unsustainable with the sanctuary cities, if the sanctuary cities change their status from sanctuary cities and still receive migrants, are those sanctuary cities allowed to, quote unquote, defend themselves from the invasion that is being fueled by Governor Abbott sending people from Texas to the sanctuary cities? Let me know what you guys think about that. How do you think that would work? Is that possible? Is that a thing? Do you think that's valid or no? Let me know. The coalition alleges that President Joe Biden administration has violated Article 4 of the Constitution, which mandates the federal government protect states against invasion. According to group officials, the proposed convoy would stretch from Virginia Beach, Virginia to San Diego between Monday, January 29th and Saturday, February 3rd. The group says it hopes to urge federal officials to enforce the Constitution and halt human and drug trafficking. Fellow citizens and compatriots, I call on you in the name of liberty, O Lord, of patriotism and everything dear to the American character, to come to our aid with all the dispatch, Pete Chambers, one of the coalition's commanders, wrote. If this call is neglected, we are determined to sustain ourselves as long as possible, and act like soldiers who never forget what is due to our own honor and that of our country. Oh, they sound like they on some kamikaze. They sound like they on that kamikaze like Twister. You know what I'm saying? Oh man. The group says that, okay, my bad. Chambers claims Americans are besieged on all sides by evil and dark forces. Now, you know, when they say dark forces, they talking about black people. You know, this particular group of people, when they talk about quote unquote dark forces, they talking about dark-skinned people. You know what I'm saying? We have sustained continual bombardment of tyranny and have maintained our honor, prestige, and esprit de corps, he wrote. The enemy has demanded the surrender of Lady Liberty and her children. Tyrannical actors have tortured and oppressed without cause, without mercy, and without reprieve. Yeah, you guys have actually done that to our ancestors and continue to do it to us to this day. Who's torturing and oppressing any of these folks? Hey, that's the best comment, man. That's the comment of the night, man. Throw some radiation emoji and some flames in the chat for Black Free Thinker. Black Free Thinker said, do you think these truck triots will be opposed by Van Tifa or something like that? Man, that's hilarious. I don't know if Van Tifa gonna be there, bro. I don't know if Van Tifa gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? SUV Lives Matter might be there. SUV Lives Matter might be there. The Scooter Lives Matter. You know what I'm saying? Additionally, the group called on active and retired service members, freedom-loving Americans, including lawmakers, business owners, ranchers, truckers, bikers, and quote-unquote mama bears to join its cause. Man. Chambers asserted, here we go, we the sons of God shall never surrender or retreat. It is time for the remnant to rise. It is time for the remnant to stand. It is time for we the people to stand in the gap. So when they say we the sons of God, y'all already know what that means, right? That's that. If that is not indicative of what these people talking about, I don't know what is. I'm gonna ask y'all in the comment section, when they say quote unquote we the sons of God, what do they mean by that? Meanwhile, Biden offered fresh assurances Saturday night that he would be willing to close the U.S.-Mexico border if lawmakers would only send him a bill to sign, which is nonsense. Again, Biden has laws that he's able to enforce, and he's choosing not to enforce them. It don't have nothing to do with no bill to sign. Biden also eager to disarm GOP criticism of his handling of the migrant border. And what's causing Joe Biden to be so eager to do this right now? Said at a political event in South Carolina that he would shut down the border right now if Congress passed a proposed deal. The framework hasn't been formally agreed to by Senate Democrats and Republicans and would face an uncertain future in the GOP-controlled House. A bipartisan bill would be good for America and help fix our broken immigration system and allow speedy access to those who deserve to be here, and Congress needs to get it done, Biden said. So in this sentence, in this entire sentence, he didn't say anything about border security. So again, nonsense. Yeah, facts. That's absolutely what that means. Not only does that mean that black people are that what you said, because I don't want to. What they like to do is try to strike you for hate speech when describing what somebody else said about you. You know what I'm saying? But what that also means is that they're trying to say that they're direct descendants of if the alleged, you know what I'm saying, omnipotent, all-seeing, imaginary power, which, you know, I don't know how you can be that if there isn't one, but some people believe that there is one. So, you know what I'm saying? We'll say that some people believe that there is one. And according to them, they directly come from it if they're the sons, which I don't know. I don't know. I think that if you came directly from it, you'd be more suitable to your natural habitat. That's what I would assume. You know what I'm saying? But that's neither here nor there. You know what I'm saying? It also gives me, as president, the emergency authority to shut down the border until it could get back under control. If the bill were the law today, I'd shut the border down right now and fix it quickly. So basically what Biden is saying is that if he had his money for his wars today, then he'd do whatever they wanted him to do, which basically says, I'm willing to be bought off. Would you guys agree that basically what Joe Biden is saying here is that he's willing to be bought off? You guys can buy me off. You know, that's it. It'll also give me, as president, the emergency authority to shut down the border until it could get back under control. If that bill were law today, I'd shut the border down right now and fix it quickly. Now, the bill is not law. There's already laws on the books that allow you to do that, and you've waited your entire 4 years of presidency to even start addressing it. Something doesn't make sense here. You know what I'm saying? It was a stark claim from a Democratic president that was met with astonishment and shock from immigrant advocates who have said his policies do not reflect the progressive approach that they had expected. Voters want to see our elected leaders do the hard work and fix our frayed immigration system, said DeAndre Schiffling, chief political and advocacy officer at the American Civil Liberties Union. President Biden and Congress must abandon these proposals and heed voters' demands for fair and effective immigration policies that manage the border and treat people seeking safety with dignity. But Biden is struggling across multiple fronts, dealing with an influx of asylum seekers, even as he cracks down on those who cross into the U.S. illegally. Democrats are increasingly frustrated because asylum seekers are streaming into cities that lack the resources to care for them. In a letter Saturday, responding to Biden's comments, House Speaker Mike Johnson insisted that Biden didn't need congressional action to close the border and called on him to take executive action immediately to reverse the catastrophe that he's created. Immigration remains a major concern for voters in the 2024 election. And if you guys feel that way, if you're watching the replay, hashtag undocumented in the comment section. An AP NORC poll earlier this month found that those voicing concerns about immigration climbed from 35% to 27% last year. Most Republicans, 55%, say that the government needs to focus on immigration in 2024, while 22% of Democrats listed immigration as a priority. That's up from 45% and 14%, respectively, in December 2022. Arrests for illegal border crossing from Mexico reached an all-time high in December since monthly numbers have been released. Border Patrol tallied 249,785 arrests on the Mexican border in December, up from 31% from 191,112 in November, and up 13% from 222,018 in December of 2022, the previous all-time high. Mexicans accounted for 56,236 arrests in December, while Venezuelans were second with 46,937. So now where are they getting all these African migrants that they keep showing? Let me know about that. Erasing much of the decline that followed the start of the deportation flights to Venezuela in October. Arrest of Guatemalans has surged, with Hondurans and Colombians rounding out the top 5 nationalities. So those are the top 5 nationalities, yet the top one nationality that you see when you look at the New York Post or when you look at Fox News are Africans. Why is that? So, ladies and gentlemen, players and pimps, that is it for Undocumented for now. But we will be back. So make sure that you smash that like button. If you haven't smashed that like button already, make sure you hit the bell. Make sure you share the stream to your social media. Make sure you join the Discord. Make sure that you are joined to the Undocumented Twitter. All right. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you guys watch this video on the replay, hashtag replay gang, hashtag undocumented. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,